recently got a comment asking me if I was happy. Now, I'm busy growing out my grey hair. I will assume that that comment is around my decision to grow out my grey hair and not my life in general. I have been going grey since I was 18. My mom, since she was 16. So my greying is genetic. I have had people in the comments saying I need to check my copper, I need to deworm myself. That one really is creative. I need to get more rest. I'm stressed. Now, while all of those factors can contribute to premature graying, in my situation, my gray is literally genetic. Okay, the most common factor for graying. I have been coloring my hair for years. Every 6 weeks, relentlessly. I have not let it slip. And in that, my hair has taken a significant toll through all the chemicals. My hair is not in the best condition. I have tried to do treatments, the lot. I can carry on. The decision now to grow out my grey hair is strictly and primarily because I want to regain the health of my hair. I've said this over, but here I am saying it again so that people can understand why some women decide to grow out their grey hair. And it's not because they want to change up their look or like aesthetic purposes, or they want to age themselves 30 years, which also may not necessarily be the case. Okay, some women look fantastic with their grey hair and in fact look even more youthful, so get with the program. In my case, ultimately, my hair really just needs this break. You know, sometimes your hair just needs a well-deserved break from all the chemicals. And so it has now been 17 weeks of not coloring my hair. To answer that question, I am happy that I've made this decision. Yes, it is hard, trust me, and I believe it's going to get even more difficult the more it grows out, like when it gets to the stage of grey and brown. I also don't plan on cutting my hair. Like, my hair right now is pretty long. This is a horrible color though, but I don't plan on cutting it. Maybe I might actually do a bit of a chop till about here. So I might cut it a bit shorter, but for the most part I don't. There are definitely moments where I catch myself in the mirror and what I see I don't love, especially in certain lighting. But then there are moments where I catch myself in the mirror and I find myself really interesting and really intriguing. And I think it's that is keeping me going. There's many reasons that are keeping me going. One, obviously, primarily the health. I'm starting to see new hairs growing, my hair becoming a little fuller in areas where it was lacking that fullness. The different shades of white are so interesting to me. It's so interesting. There are moments where, again, I catch myself in the mirror and the lightness brings out a different kind of shade in my eyes, which is really interesting. So I'm taking on the approach of this being an experiment more than anything else, more than this being like a dreaded journey that I have to go on. For me, this is an experiment. And if you change your perspective on the journey that you're on, you can probably finish the journey. And what I did as well in the beginning was I made it explicitly clear to the people around me that I would be growing out my grey hair, so that it wasn't a big fat shock, so that they don't come with negativity, because of course that negativity would affect you and your happiness on your personal journey. Like, for example, my fiance, he has his own greys which he personally doesn't like. He will shave them off, but I did say to him, listen, this is why I'm growing out my grey hair. It is for the sake of, my hair's health. And no one, when you talk about your health, your physical, your bodily health, your mental health, your hair's health, whichever health, no one's going to argue with that. For example, I think about going to work. Some days I do cover up my grey hair, some days I let it shine, and when it comes up into conversation, which to be honest it doesn't really, not too often, but I'm sure it will later, I tell people I'm doing it for the sake of my health. No one's going to argue with that. Your health? This is a bold move. It's not many people can do it. And I see a lot of comments from women saying that it takes a lot of courage, that they can't do it because it's scary. If you can do it, it means that you have that strength inside of you, and it's something to be proud of. So it's something to keep you going, like, and really you take it a day at a time, week at a time. And if you're documenting it, it's even more fun. You are meeting people along the way who are doing it as well. So yeah, and then you just get creative with the hairstyles along the way. So overall, to answer that question, yeah, you know what, I am happy. Obviously, I do have my days where I see myself in certain photos and certain pictures and I'm like, oh my literal shit, what the F is that? But I know why I'm doing this. I know the ultimate goal, and we will make it work. You know, if you have to use your little hair pieces and your spray along the way, then so be it. But you know, at the end of the day, it's really, it's hair. It's not something crazy, and we make do.